Hello everyone, welcome to our stream about motion. I'm Thom, and I'm joined by Willow here.
Hi everyone.
Motion is one of the newer tools on Leonardo AI. It's been available for over a year now, I believe. I think it came out in autumn of the year before last, if I'm not mistaken. For anyone who is not familiar with it yet, let us show you briefly how you make motion files. So I've got 4 images here preloaded that I want to turn into clips. How you do it is, well, the way I do it, contrary to where you create most of your images, I go into my library, the image gallery of my own images. I click on the one I want to motion, and then right here there's the option to image to motion. Click that, and then you get the motion generation screen window. What you have available here is basically how strong do you want to make the motion? How much movement do you want to see? Generally speaking, if you go on a low setting, there will not be much movement. If you go on a high setting, there will be a lot of movement. The cost, regardless of image size, I think, is always 25 tokens. So for now, while we do the next bit of the stream, I'm going to queue up a lot of different motion generations that are going to load in the background. And then we'll take a look at motion files we prepared in advance to show what worked well, what perhaps didn't work as well. So I'm just going to keep the medium strength of 5 in as I generate these. And I'm just going to make one strength 5 motion of each of these 8 images, and we'll see how they come out afterwards. These 8 images are now loading. If I go to image creation, you can see them loading here as well. But we shall just stay in the library for the moment while those generate in the background. Motion files take slightly longer than images, because each motion file is 4 seconds, consisting of 96 frames. Basically speaking, that means if you click on generating a motion file, the AI creates 95 images to follow the one you give it, to try and make a coherent clip out of it. Right, let's take a look at a couple of motion files. You'll see in your library, you're able to filter by motion. Looks like the first one will be already loaded, but we'll check that out afterwards. Let's start at the bottom. I prepared a lot for the stream today. Right. Willow, do you want to briefly give us a couple of examples? Sorry, a couple of things in images that motion well versus not so well?
Yeah, so just from my experience, I think my favourite one is waves on the ocean. They always seem to work really well. And then any type of moving water. So rain is another really good one. Maybe a waterfall or any kind of running water. And then also fire is a brilliant one as well. Oh yeah, so I've got one here with waves, with the waves behind the little cute seagull.
Which one is the motion file? It's a bit
I
hard to
think, yeah,
spot.
maybe run one on one of these then, just maybe pick that one with quite the big waves
Quite the big
and see
waves.
how
You
that
mean this
works
one
out.
here?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okie dokie. I shall motion it for you. What strength do you recommend for it?
I think 5 will be fine.
Okay, I'll just do 2 for the sake of it for afterwards.
Yeah.
What else do you have prepared in your collection file here that you'd like to show off?
I think the other thing I was going to say is if you've got images which have got a lot of movement in them, so those ones with the scientist,
Mm,
the whole prompt is talking about what's happening, so about all the bubbles, about what's happening in the flask and her face. So if you've got those kind of words in the prompt, that can quite that can work quite well with motion because the AI can pick up on what you're trying to get from it, and it will still be random, but it will give it a bit of dynamic effect.
yeah, definitely. So you mentioned having motion clues in your prompt to
Yeah, so
assist
I
in
always
making a good motion file.
yes, if I'm writing a prompt with motion in mind, I'll always write it as if I'm describing a video rather than a still image. So those ones with the cat dancing, I've said several times through the prompt that the cat is dancing. Again,
Yeah,
you can just probably run another one off those if there's not emotion there.
no problem. I'll just load those in.
I'm sorry if you
So
can hear a cat meowing.
that's just a bonus of being in part of the stream. Don't worry about that. So let me just take a quick glance on my cheat sheets. Um, Things that work particularly well for motion generation. You mentioned water, waves, rippling water, splashes,
Yeah,
fire, smoke, clouds.
yes,
Exactly, that's the stuff I like most as well.
yeah.
Another thing that works pretty well, let me see if I can find the example quickly in my motion feed. I should probably put in the. I just need to find the image. Right here, for example, spaceships, things that are supposed to move, are pretty good to get moving.
That's really good, that one.
And then we've got this one as well. This works for cars, this works for trains, this works for planes, balloons, spaceships. Yeah, things that are supposed to move, the AI
Yeah.
can make move.
I think with that as well, it's worth noting that if you've got quite a good contrast between the subject and the background, it will do a better job as well. So it's not getting confused between what is the object and what's behind it.
It's a very good point. So in here, the subject of the image, the plane, is pretty well separable. It contrasts very well against the background. The AI can tell where the plane ends and where the background begins. That's why I can keep the things separate. Right, anyway, we were going to do a little showcase of stuff I have, so I think let's just go straight to my standouts file. That way I won't need to go through the whole file to search everything I need. Right, nice and collected. Anyway, so there's 3 different kinds of motions currently that you can get when you click on generating a motion file. You can get a zoom, being zooming in or zooming out. You can have a pan, being the camera moving, which is what's going on here. You've got a bit of a zoom and a bit of a pan. How you notice how the camera is going slightly closer and at the same time rotating around in an axis, in an, what's it called, in an orbit. The third one is a moving subject, which is the hardest one to get. Let's see, this one I think there's a bit of movement for the subject as well. Yeah. This one I put in my standouts folder because you've got a bit of movement in the background, but you've also got the smiley itself, which seems to be turning towards us. And that's basically the 3 different motions you can get. Rarely, you also get a combination of 2 of those. where there's a camera pan, a camera zoom, or maybe a zoom and a moving subject, or a pan and a moving subject. It is random, as with everything with AI. But yeah, it does well with moving fire and water. If you check out this, you can get cool background movements, firework, and these ASCII, how do you spell those? ASCII particles movement. Yeah. As said, it does well at moving things that are supposed to move, so it can detect when there's supposed to be wind. This one I shared earlier of a fan blowing wind, and you've got really cool movement in the hair, pretty cool flowing cape. Yeah, and as with these images, for example, the subject stands out against the background, hence it's moving around a little bit. The hand moves up and down, whereas the background stays the same. The cool particle trail is given a bit of movement. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, glittery things is another one that works really nicely. So that was a little tip that Tanis gave me, that any glittery things, and I've tried it with when you have a bokeh background where you've got the lights in the distance. That always works really nicely as well.
Yeah, lights in the background, for example, in this one where I've got a bit of lightning going on,
Oh, that's really cool.
it gives you this nice frozen in time kind of feeling. Really like this lightning bolt.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one, for example, one of those rare instances of getting two of the three categories ticked. You've got a panning camera, and you've got a moving subject, the rotating UFO up here. What else is worth showing off? We mentioned how it does well with water. You get some pretty cool ripples. You've got some moving fish in the water. The camera is moving ever so slightly, so I'm counting that as 2 or 3.
It's really good, that one.
Then I've got some high movement successes. This is going to be a bit blurry, but bear with it. So the image itself is just a woman standing on a ledge looking over a city, but the AI seems to have understood that it's a spaceship flying over the city, which is pretty cool. You get the whole town moving in the background instead of the person that's in the forefront.
I really like that one. So did you have that on a higher strength?
Can't quite remember what strength they are. One
Yeah.
of the downsides is you can't tell after the fact what strength it was
Yeah.
generated with, but I do believe it was a high strength, yeah.
Yeah.
And then just another one with high strength that worked out pretty well is this one where we've got loads of subjects moving. Albeit the movement being a bit strange, but a lot of them are moving reasonably well for humans, I would say.
Yeah. It just adds a bit of interest, doesn't it?
Mm. So I do believe my PC has quieted down, so the motion files should all be generated now. Let's check out my generations. We should have 8 new, well, yours as well, yeah, 12 new images to check out. Let's browse through what we generated before. So, reminder, when we started streaming, I just generated these 8 images into motion files, all at a strength of 5, which is the middle strength out of the available options. Okay, this 5 was a bit strong, it seems. The UFO being a bit too unidentified, I'd say.
It's in stealth mode.
Next one. Ooh. It's almost like she's on a conveyor belt through the wheat field. The moon's coming closer, the UFO's moving. That's a lot of movement. Cool. Then we've got this one here. Okay, it just wanders off. Nice. Then we've got one over here. Okay, this one. Okay, yeah, you've got a tiny bit of movement on the UFO, but it's mostly a camera pan. Got other 3 categories fulfilled. Nice. Yeah, and that's the UFOs. We generated 4 of them, and I'd say 3 of them came out pretty successful. This one's a bit sketchy. But as with every image, I'm not happy with every image I generate either, so motion's fine by me, 3 out of 4 success. Now let's take a look at these chibi particle creatures. Oh, he's not enjoying himself. But he is moving, I can't argue that. And we've got this little thing. Ooh. You've got the moving background and you've got the dancing little creature. That's nice.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, it does pretty well with simple lights in the background. That bokeh lighting effect style.
Yeah.
And this one, okay, not as much movement, but it did notice there's a sparkly trail that it could animate a bit. That's cute.
Yeah, I like that.
Got this guy here. Yeah, same deal, although a bit prettier sparkles.
Yeah. And it's like a lightning streak as well, isn't it? Coming down.
Mm. Then we've got your images, Willow.
Yep. Fingers
We've
crossed.
got the
No, that's not what I wanted. It's still cute
Saskiel.
though.
Shot number 2.
Yep, I take it all back.
Oh, don't worry about it. You got a moving subject, and that's not always easy.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
tiny
let's move
face,
on to
luckily.
the dancing cats. Oh my.
Yeah, there we go. You can't say it's not dancing.
Yep, even the leaves are joining in.
Yeah.
And the next one. Oh, that's a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
So, a common question I get a lot when I'm talking about motions is, does the motion generation read what's in the prompt? Example being, if I write dancing woman in the images prompt, does it make the woman dance when it generates the motion? Simple answer is no. I've seen,
Sometimes. I'm
I've
gonna say
seen.
sometimes.
I mean, if it looks like the subject is doing what it says in the prompt, then it will try to enforce that.
Yeah. But
But
if she's sitting down, she's not gonna get up and start dancing.
that's also quite unlikely, yeah. But as I was gonna say, I've seen no evidence so far to suggest that generating motion reads the prompt. Basically, to try and steer what you want in motion is having the suggested motion already in the image. Not in the prompt, in the image. So, for an example, let's just do a quick image of some waves in flow state. Oops. Ocean, overhead, beach, lapping waves. I just need some simple waves over a beach. Maybe overhead was the uh, wrong perspective. This will only take a moment to get this. this might work. I'll save this to Motionify. And maybe this.
Yeah, that looks like a good one.
Okay, got 3. Back to the library, and we shall generate these 3 into motions. This one, I'm just going to go with a 4. Going to give this a 5, and giving this one a 5 as well. Typically, it takes about up to a minute to generate a motion file, I'd say. So while these here are loading, let me just check our little cheat sheet. Water, fire, smoke, we've mentioned those. Yeah, we mentioned wind as well. That's cheat sheet all gone through. We're just going to linger here for a moment until these are generated. As said, it would take around about a minute to generate a motor file. Willow, you mentioned something about upscaling to help motion quality. Do you want to explain what that was about?
Yeah, just from personal experience, I've found sometimes if you have a person or an animal, when you apply the motion, it can make their eyes look a bit funny. So I found that if I do an alchemy upscale first on smooth, then it makes the image a bit smoother, and then when you apply the motion, it tends to just look a little bit better. That's just my personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, I've had similar experiments as well, where I've used the universal upscaler to get an image have a bit more details, a bit more particles in it,
Mm.
and then I motioned that instead of the original.
Yeah, I would say if people have created the image on small, if they do upscale it, you will get better results just because there's more pixels.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said at the start, regardless of image size, 25 tokens, it does not seem to be dependent on how large the image is. So
Yeah,
if you have the option between a 512 by 512 or a 2K by 2K, why not go with the big one?
exactly.
Yeah, we have these waves. They came out pretty much as we wanted them to.
Yeah,
We
that's
went
really
with a
nice.
middling strength. The first one a 4, then 2 5s, and they came out pretty much exactly what we asked for. But I feel like we missed the point we were trying to make. So 1 second. Um, um, I'm just gonna try and get the motion of a dancing person without mentioning dance or movements, just to try and make a bit of a point here. 1 second. Um, um, by the way, I'm seeing a lot of cool motion files in chat as well. Do keep those coming. They're looking very nice. Right now, I just need to pick out a one that looks kind of like it's dancing. Reminder, the simple prompt I use for these images is just simple flat illustration, man in tuxedo, arms out, and then background. So I'm just going to grab a few that I'm going to try to motion to see what happens if I can get any of them dancing. I could have been a bit more descriptive to get a bit more of a dancey pose, but again, there's no evidence to suggest the motion generation reads the prompt. It would be nice if it did. There's a lot of untapped potential still in Leonardo's motion generation, but I'm sure they're working on something cool to come eventually. 3 should be more than fine. If not, I've got a couple of not so good examples to go through in my feed. So let's give one a 3, 5. That gives this one a 5 and a 7. It's just gut feeling, by the way. And this gives this one 2 5s. So while those are loading, let's just take a couple of images I already have to explain how they perhaps went pretty well. Just trying to remember which is the one I'm looking for. Yeah. Another thing the AI moves is things that suggest there is movement in the image already. So these images here of leaping across 2 buildings, the AI continues the logical thought of moving the silhouette in the middle. I just had another thought, but I've forgotten it again. Let's not worry about that. Motion blur from flow states is, sorry, the in motion style in flow state does pretty well for giving us motion files as well. Yeah, things that look like they should be blowing in the wind, it can do that. It can do cute stuff. And then I've just got all kinds of variations on that UFO. Oh yeah, this sometimes it can go a bit crazy. This is a strength 10. Where you think, where's the lot of motion, and then suddenly it just warps the whole image. It's quite amusing.
Yeah.
The magic marble. Oh yeah, that was a thought I had. So very simple images, simplistic, minimalist images where there's not much in the image, it's much easier to get motion on that little thing that is in the image. So image of just tiny little chibi guy, if he's the only thing in the image, the AI doesn't have much choice on what to move. That's another way of trying to steer what you want to get, not giving the AI much options. Yeah, bicycles, cats on skateboards, it works pretty well on things that are moving already. Or sorry, on things that do move. Flames, it's pretty good at recognizing where there's fire.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, dancing, it's pretty good at getting dances ready. If you've got someone in a suggestive dancing pose, it will try to dance them.
It worked out quite well.
Even if there's multiple people. I mean, this is a bit crazy, but they are all moving relatively simple.
Yep.
Or just more cool background effects. One went a bit crazy. Hang on, that wasn't a good one. This one was a good one. We've just got
Yeah,
a
I like
cool
that.
dynamic background particle whooshes. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Pokemon cards, the really sparkly ones, with the background all
Yeah.
moving when you tilt it. Yeah, it's also really good at like abstract patterns.
Oh, that's really nice.
This one was the other one, where it just sees a suggestive pattern and it tries to continue it.
It's a bit trippy, that one.
Yeah, it does kind of beat. Right, we did generate some new stuff. Let me just refresh my feed. Okay, let's see if the dancing guys actually do dance. No, but the AI didn't have much else to animate, so it made him... Well, I mean, he's... How do you call that? He's
Yeah,
appearing, I guess.
like conducting an
Caught a,
orchestra.
caught a fish this big. And this one's making a pretty good argument, I'd say. This one looks a bit worrying. Nope, not going to talk about that one. And
Oh, he's really going for it, yeah.
this one's groovy. There's a 5, I believe it was. Yeah, that's a strong 5. And this one, he's just explaining something.
Yeah.
There was another one I had. Let's try and find it. I do like going through my motion feed in particular and just hovering the mouse over every image to see them all move at the same time. That is pretty
Yeah.
cool. Let me just make double sure we didn't forget anything from our prep sheet. Yeah, I mean, we will summarize it all again when we're done, but I think we've covered every important bit to consider when doing motion. Yeah, water it does really pretty.
Yeah, those are all really nice, aren't they, with the fish?
Get a closer look at this one.
That's really nice.
In my experience, anime is not as motionable as regular photographs. So these realistic women, you get a little bit of head movement here and there, but the more anime guy here did not want to budge.
He's quite happy.
Yeah, he's pretty happy in there. Then again, you get the guys like these, and they're really happy in the water. But yeah, that's just my experience so far. Anime does not move as much as photographs. That's one of the areas where it's a bit lacking.
I don't really do much anime, so I'll have to try that out later.
But yeah, these fan images came out really cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not the good one. This is the good one, I think. Yeah, and if I had any kind of editing skills whatsoever, I might be able to make a loop out of this one that just goes on forever. Oh yeah, we haven't had a decent example of a zoom yet, haven't we? So this would be one of them, where it just really zooms into something. Again, reminder, you've got 3 different categories of results. You can have a zoom, being a zoom in or a zoom out. You can have a pan, being the camera panning to the left or the right, or panning around in a circle. Or you can have the subject itself moving. Category 4 would just be a mixture of any of the 3. I don't think I've seen a good example of all 3 combined, but I've seen a decent amount of 2 out of 3. Being, for example, this one where you've got a bit of a movement, a bit of a pan, as well as a moving subject.
Yeah, that's really good, that one.
But also mixing in a zoom would be a bit difficult. Let's just see the one image that might have all 3 that I think are saved. Yeah, the planet one. This one has a tiny bit of all 3. You've got the panning camera, you've got a ever so slight zoom, and you've got a slightly rotating scene-ish. Very faint, but it's there. But yeah, I think let's say let's do a quick recap for the YouTube video part of this little guide slash inspiration video, and then we'll move on to the after recording freestyle generations of the stream.
Okay.
So just to summarize the video, because I know I did get a bit rambly in places. When generating motion, you can get 3 different results: a zoom, a pan, or a moving subject, or in rare cases, a combination of 2 or 3 of those 3 categories. If your subject looks like it should move, there is a good chance that it will move in a motion, but unfortunately there is no guarantee, just as there is no guarantee that you'll get every image you want when you're generating images. It does very well on water, on fire, on objects that do move in nature, spaceships, leaves in the wind, ocean waves on the beach, that kind of thing. Um, Pro tip by Willow, don't forget, if you can upscale, you should, because motion files cost the same amount of tokens regardless of how large the image is. If you only have a small image, we recommend you upscale it and then you motion it, just to get the most out of your tokens. And yeah, I think that covers all the important bits. So for the shorter YouTube version, let's wrap this up here. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, be sure to join our Discord. You can be part of the after recording party. Yeah, thank you for watching. Anything I may have forgotten for YouTube, Willow?
Like and subscribe for more.
Oh yeah, of course. Like and subscribe for more similar stream content. And be sure to smash that bell like Azerthane says in chat. Right, so that was the recording bit. I think Dee's just gonna keep on the recording button and then put the whole unedited VOD on YouTube as well. So let's just do some more generating. What would you guys like to see? Now that we no longer have pressure of being smart and stuff.
Have you got any of the prompts for the ones that you did to put in chat so people can have a go?
Oh yeah, of course.
The
Let me
little
just show
particle
you.
people, the little tiny particle people in the hand, I like that one.
Definitely. I have that on my cheat sheet actually. Let me just go grab it. Oh, this sheet is getting a bit big. I need to reduce it sometime. So, here in chat is the flow state prompt for the little particle creatures. That's for these guys here.
So cute.
So let's just generate a couple of those and put some motion on them as well. As said, the tutorial bit of the stream, let's say it's over. We might learn some more along the way, but the educational bit, in my opinion, is over for now. Now we're just having some fun.
Everyone's been sharing some really amazing motion clips in chat.
I look
So
forward to looking at them afterwards.
yeah, keep sharing.
Right, I put my... Sorry, it's not my prompt. It's a prompt by Duke, who is not here at the moment, unfortunately. But yeah, the prompt's in chat. Feel free to slam that into flow state and generate. Oh, D, no rush on editing the thing. Or even the VOD, it's ready when it's ready. I feel like we may have... Well, sorry, not we. Willow wasn't rambly at all. I was a bit very rambly this time. Despite being so prepared with my many examples. Oh, right. Now that we've wrapped up the recording bit, let's do some ads for the server. Everyone loves the ads. So, what's going on the server? In order of things that happened, if you'll divert your attention for a moment to Stage's chat, we have wrapped up the contest for a new Welcome to the Server emote. We got 3 out of it. 2 cute little robots and 1 cute drunk little woman. Lovely stuff. Willow, do you want to give us an example of those 3 new emotes, perhaps? While I get the new thing.
Yes, I will.
And immediately upon closing that contest, we were given a new contest for an emoji. This time we're looking for a good time zone emoji. For the non-initiated, that's our server's way of saying hello wherever in the world you are from. So instead of saying good morning when it's actually evening for the other person over there, you say good time zone. Where is my post? Here we go. So if you have suggestions for an emoji for the server, be sure to put it in that good time zone quest. Remember, it's supposed to be an emoji. It'll be tiny. Maybe a photograph with a lot of details is not the best option. What else is going on? To my surprise as well, there was a there is a Valentine's Day flash contest going on. Unlimited entries available. So basically that means you have unlimited chances to win a prize.
And when does that close?
As far as I've been told, it runs through the whole weekend and probably ends on the token reset between Monday to Tuesday.
Okay.
Probably, don't quote me. And I think that's the important announcements. Yeah, basically 2 chances to win some glory. Either get your emote as official emote on the Leonardo Discord server, and or win some cool tokens from a Valentine's Day Flash contest.
And even if you don't participate, make sure you vote for other people as well.
That's a very good argument. Always vote. If nothing else, it makes the person happy who receives it.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a couple of pixel creatures. 6 of them to be exact. I'm going to generate them all into motion now. I'm just gonna keep on the 5 strength. A lot of people, when this tool first came out, said not to go too high on the strength because it goes a bit crazy. In my experience, well, they can be right, but I like taking risks.
I do mine on 5 or 6, and I've never dared to go any higher.
Just give this one a 10, just to see what happens. In fact, let's give it 3 10s. We've got the tokens to burn. This account is for nothing other than experimenting, so I may as well blow through these tokens. Oh dear. While we're waiting for those to load, let's just check out a couple more. Clips. I have some dancing red pandas. They came out pretty cutely.
Yeah, I like those. They're really good.
And yeah, as I said, there's nothing about dancing in the prompts. It just says arms out, so it's got the arms up and all groovy. And they're pretty good examples of how the red panda really stands out against the blue background, which
Yeah.
is why it was more easily able to get some movement. There were some examples, although I didn't save any, where the tail looked like it was attached to the wall and it didn't move while the rest of it moved. In hindsight, I should probably have kept some of those just as examples of why it's important to have good contrasts. But oh well.
Might be worth also mentioning that there is like a little tutorial guide on motion if you do select it from the homepage.
Oh, there might even be one in the new education hub of our server.
Oh yes, good point. Shall I have a look?
I haven't quite explored all of the channels there yet.
No, I haven't.
Oh dear. Okay, is it done? Yes, it is. Okay, let's check out these new motions. We have a couple to go through. So this is the 5. Nice and sparkly, a bit of movement. Not bad. Let's check out the same images, but the 10s. So we have 3 of them. We've got this one. Arguably less movement.
It's still quite pretty though, isn't it?
Background's moving, but the subject's staying the same. Let's ignore the second thumb before anyone points it out. I didn't notice it before. I mean, you've got ever so slight movement on the subject and the hand, but the sparkles are pretty. But I think I prefer the 5 over the 2 10s. Because the thing's moving itself as well. So yeah, unintentional, but a good example of how a higher number doesn't always guarantee more movement. I mean, the 10s here, these three, well, they're huge, but you wouldn't expect them to be a 10, a maximum strength. Whereas this is a 5.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit inconsistent, isn't it? I know I've had some recently where nothing moved at all.
Yeah, that
No,
can happen as well in rare cases where it just
yeah,
doesn't move at all.
and I had it on like
Usually,
5 or 6.
yeah, it can happen on any strength, I think. Usually that's just a symptom of images where there's not much contrast between the things in the image, where everything kind of blends
Mm,
together pretty well, and it doesn't know what to move, if anything.
yeah. I've put the link to the tutorial from the Education Hub in the chat there, so if anyone wants to check that out a little bit later after this, there's a video on there.
Oh yeah, right, that's another thing new on the server for people who may have just joined us for the stream after a bit of an absence. The way new server members are onboarded on the server was completely overhauled. So, whereas previously you had to go through a bit of an interview with our bot, now it's all automated in a registration form, so to speak. Users have a shortcut into our support hub, being the image help channel and the API channel, where they can just come in and ask their questions and then be gone again. Or they can fill in the complete registration form and get access to the server like you did before. So as part of that, users may see that the support hub has image help, whereas beneath that there is an education hub with all kinds of resources, workflows, tutorials, the documentation of the webinars, etc. Do keep in mind that is a bit of a work in progress still, though. So there might be some slight more changes. Anyway, where was I? I was going to generate some more motion stuff. Feed, yes, SD. Let's just see if I can get some more good images to motion. This was Anime Pastel Dream, Dynamic, Prompt, Remix, Legacy Mode on, Anime Pastel Dream on, Alchemy on, Dynamic on, Contrast Boost Maximum. I will edit the prompt. Just a second. Got this on. Yep, everything seems to be right. Something else in the prompt, but I'm too lazy to read the whole thing another time. Yellow, nope, orange. Okay, so let's just go wild. 3 sets. Actually, let's go 2 and 2. Gonna be a couple here that I can use nicely. The question in chat, any news on texture generation? Texture generation has been in alpha for a long while, and it doesn't seem to be the topmost priority, so I'm not sure when to expect any changes to it, I'm afraid. He's a bit more buff than I wanted it, but oh well. Yeah, there's some nice background particles that I can make move around a bit. And here, this is interesting. Anyway, not the time. Right, let's pick out something to motion. I will say this one has some nice background effects. As a little tip, if you want to wear already, you can also motion directly from the generation feed. I'm just gonna go for a 3 and a 5. And also this one perhaps. Yeah, sure. Give this one a 3 and a 5 as well. Just gotta get this one somewhere to have a look at it later, because I'd never seen this quite a style before. What was I gonna do with it? Upscale? Yeah, upscale. Let's upscale it. Nope, I don't know what I'm doing. Haven't used the upscale image feature in a while. I'll just download it and remember to go check later. Oops. Okay, so the strength 3 didn't really do much. There's a bit of sparkles going on and a bit of a glitch, but nothing too cool. This one, movement a bit too strong, I'd say. But movement at least. This one came out nice and smooth. Ooh, this one came out cool. Really zooming. There are so many motion files in Chat, I look forward to going through those afterwards. Willow, do you have any images you would like me to run through the motion?
Um, there might be some in my folder there if anything piques your interest.
Okay, one sec. Cool, okay, let's go through your folder quickly. It is hard to find sometimes, here we go.
Yeah, that one. I think that microchip one is actually quite a nice one. Nothing much happens, but whatever happens is normally quite pretty.
I mean, I like it, it's a nice pan.
Yeah.
Do this one twice, just for the sake of it. go over to... No. Go. And yeah, let's stick with lightning. Let's see. Am I doing something wrong? Feels like there should be more options. Oh well, doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. Looks like everything's right. Give it a go. Okay, your seagulls cannot look gay. Never mind. I mean, it's cool how that one seagull kind of backwards out.
Yeah.
Waves in the background are pretty nice, but the zoom is a bit unflattering. Okay, so these did not come out the way I wanted them to. I mean, I'll give it a shot to see what happens, but I was not expecting too much from them because they don't have the angle I asked for. To go over to another model to get these right. In fact, let's do that. With this, legacy mode. Everything the way it should be? Nope. Can't remember if it was Diffusion XL, Lightning XL, or Anime. Let's just do all three. Very strong 5. Oh well. This one came out better.
Nice.
The camera following them around and them actually moving. Okay, let's not talk about that last one. That's all kinds of wrong. I'm just gonna... Let's just go with my feet and do that. It's easier. Which images were they? Just trying to get my bearings. 1 sec. Sure, why not? Some of the images missing. I feel like something isn't right. Oh well, let's just do as many as I feel like. Yeah, there's definitely some images missing that I generated a second ago. Oh well. So we've been streaming for an hour now. I'd say we'll go another 20 minutes before wrapping up. Is that okay with you, Willow?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so very interesting. One by a time. This one gets a bit blurry, but not the worst I've seen. Then this one looks interesting. Both of them just vibing on their own. And this one, very interesting. He kind of duplicates himself and then just wanders off. Downloading this for sure. Okay, now we're getting these cool camera pans that I liked. I mean, the faces are a bit garbled, but
Mm.
otherwise I like it. What's going on here?
It's nice with
Interesting.
her dress flowing, but I think it's just trying to do too much, isn't it?
Yeah, the guys in the background merging together as well.
Yeah.
Then we've got this one. Okay, now they kind of become Minecraft people at the end. Okay, Sagan, see you next time. And she's gone already. Never mind. Okay, I was sure I generated way more images before. Let's just check. Actually, hang on, that was there already. Did I really only make... It feels like there should be more in my feed. Let's see, I've got 8 each. Okay, yeah, barely. It just looked a bit unusual. Must have been my imagination. What else have we not seen? Let's do some more water. In fact, let's do flow state so it's easier. Um, no, let's make them a bit larger. I think the nighttime's a bad idea for this one. Let's just keep it daytime. Winter, do you mean bows and arrows in motion or just in general? I think someone had some success the other day, but I can't remember quite who. Then let's motionify them. Let's just stick with the simple 5 for all of them. This one feels like a bit of an ambitious 5, but I'm gonna go with a 3 and a 7 as well, just because I feel like it. I like this one's vibe. And then back to a 5 for this guy. Nice to see people joining in and leaving out is scare. What was I saying? Nice to see people joining and leaving. Nice to get people from different time zones in and out. Hello, everyone.
Nice to see some new faces as well.
Definitely. I'm seeing a lot of people who I don't think I've seen in streams before as well. That's always good. If this is anyone's first stream, remember there is a text chat as part of the stage channel you're currently in. You can ask us questions, you can show us your motion files. It's gonna take a while to load. Let's just leave it out in the background.
Are we going to take requests?
If I like it, I can take the request, sure. We are nearing the end of the stream, but if someone puts in a pretty, how should I say, convincing suggestion, I might just take them up on it. Got some subject movement as well as a slight zoom out. That's 2 out of 3. Don't quite remember asking for lightning in that one, but sure. Oh, they're all ready. Good, let's give them a shot. Then we'll see if there's any actual requests.
I think Wonderlook has made an actual request.
Yep, I saw.
Oh, I like that with the rain. I said rain was a good one, didn't I?
Mm. Yeah, it really does well on water rippling.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's having a bad time or a really good time.
I think that looks more like a mud bath, doesn't it? He might have paid a lot of money to be in there.
Yeah, these may not have moved the water as much because due to the shadows and the very similar colors from his hair to the water to the darker water, there's not enough contrast and hence it didn't know there was water there. It might have just looked like he's part of the background.
Yeah.
Last one, this guy. Okay, very active water.
Yeah, that's good. That's like you said, that if it's photo style, it tends to do a bit more.
Okay, there's 2 requests in chat that I'm going to try and get. Flow state, alien spaceship. Okay. Let's see if this works. Oops, hang on. I done fumbled it. Actually, I should have saved some of these anyway. Now give me the images I actually wanted to generate. It's always funny when candlelit gives you a candle.
Yeah, it's funny.
Right, that's the aliens waving, and I do fancy the challenge of a clock with the clock hands moving. How do I do that best? I think I'm gonna go with motion and uh, it, what do you call those clocks with the minute hand and the hour hand? Are those analog clocks?
Yep, analog.
Well, that's spelled right. Okay, never mind. Maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. We shall see. Any images I particularly fancy? Not really. Maybe this one.
Pinky purple one might work well. It looked like it had too many hands,
This
but
one?
it does look like it's moving, doesn't it? So that might do something. Yeah, that
I'll
might.
take your word for it.
I'm just hypothesizing.
No problem. Okay, I think we've got enough to try. Or at least enough to get loading while we get some more. Right, aliens waving. Let's give this guy a 5 and a 7. Let's give this guy, not much going on, 5 and a 4. I'm just gonna go crazy with these. This one, really not much going on in the image. Let's give this a 3 and a 5. This guy, 5. That's it. This one, 5. Now, the hands of the clock. Let's see, what do I do here? Let's just go 3, 6. This one, not sure, 5. This one, 3 and 5. Right, and just because I did say I would take requests, let's see if I can get a somewhat realistic bow and arrow.
I think we should explain for any of the new people that are here about the bow and arrow situation.
I think they'll need no explanation once they see the results that I'm gonna generate
Okay,
in a
yeah.
sec. Um, uh, how do I get it to fire an arrow towards us, the viewer? Maybe just like that? We'll see.
Yeah, just say towards the viewer. That's what I would normally do. Or towards the camera. Oh, these are nice. Yeah, I
It
like that
is
one.
mid-challenge. Oh, hang on. Perfect.
Ooh, very good.
I mean, I really don't see what the problem was, to be honest. I'm getting some pretty good bows and arrows. But yeah, there is also a lot of mess.
I like that female one next to that as well.
This one,
Yeah, yeah, that one.
yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of the texture here around the arm.
Oh,
Unless she's wearing a white undershirt, that's fine. I didn't. I got a couple. Yeah, unfortunately, the AI often doesn't know what it means when you say towards the viewer, towards the camera. It just generates a camera next to them and does it with that one.
yeah, I've seen that
So,
happen.
yeah. Anyway, we've got a couple mingled in with the motions. Let's just give them a shot as well. Let's give this one a 3 and a 5. I'll give this one a 3. No, let's go to 4, sure, a 6. Because I feel like it. Nope, I saw a spoiler there. Let's not mention it yet. I may have to admit I was wrong. Right, are the motions that we generated earlier ready? I think they are, so let's just look at motions alone, so I don't need to think away the bows and arrows. And start with the aliens. So this was Wonderluck's suggestion request thingy.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I know it does get a bit weird at the end there, but you know.
The first half is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an alien, maybe he does that occasionally.
We don't know his species.
Then we've got this one. A bit too jumbled. This one.
I mean, he's waving.
Yeah. I mean, this just be like a heartbeat, I guess. Then we've got this guy.
Thing
Transforming,
again, isn't
okay.
it? You could probably use it for something, but maybe not what people had in mind.
I mean, this is barely any movement for a 5. I'm gonna give this one another shot afterwards, perhaps.
Okay.
Right, this was Danny's request, getting a clock to move. Sorry, not getting a clock to move, getting just the arrows, what do you call them, the hands on the clock to move. It seemed to have recognized pretty well what it's supposed to do here.
That one.
I mean, it does kind of grow new hands, but can't have everything. And speaking of not having everything, sometimes you don't get anything at all, like in this case.
It's a shame.
Unfortunate. But that's the first one during this whole stream, so it's not that common
Yeah.
if you know what you're doing. Alright, here's another one. Maybe it's just my choice of image that was that bad.
Okay, let's blame the image. Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
Perfect. Okay, I mean, Danny, you didn't say it has to move realistically. Mission accomplished. I'm
Yeah,
gonna take
mission
that one.
accomplished.
The clock stayed still, the hands are moving. I mean, I'm sure it's right a couple of times a day. The last one here, yeah, it's a bit too wonky, too strong.
Yeah.
I think this was the 5 and this was the 3.
Okay.
Let's see if the new image is done. Yep, they are. Motion. The arrows, let's see if any of them did well, and then we shall call it a day. Nah, just a bit of a light movement in the back.
Yeah.
Not bad, but not overwhelmingly much. It's just a bit of a pan.
I think in fairness that is a statue, isn't it? So it probably wouldn't move. We'll see what happened with the other one.
Arrow's got a mind of its own. This one loses the bowstring halfway through, okay. Last ones. Yeah, not much movement going on. Maybe if the arrow was already in the air, it'd be a different situation.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah.
Well,
We didn't have
Winter's
any.
done one in the chat with the arrow moving, but it's just the whole background moves.
Yeah, it's like the arrow's flying sideways. Yeah, I'm at least surprised how well Flow State did the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Right, this guy, I want to do this guy again, because I felt like he could have been a lot better. Orange guy, this guy. Give me 2 5s, please. And when they're done, we shall wrap up the stream. So, everyone, while we're waiting for the last 2 motions to generate, in fact, let's keep them on screen to keep an eye on them. If there's any last questions, or last requests, I guess, or perhaps a next stream topic, I guess, or anything you'd like to say, now's the time. Once these are in and we've recapped last time, we shall wrap this up. Just in case you weren't here when we brought this up the first couple of times, remember the motion generation costs 25 tokens regardless of image size. So if you have a small image, maybe put it through the universal upscaler first to get a bigger image with more details that you can then motionify that instead. Get a bit more motion for your tokens. That's a pretty good tip we can take from today. What else? Common question we usually see in combination with motion is, does motion generation read the prompt? The answer, unfortunately, is no, I don't believe it does.
But I will argue that.
You're very welcome to. How I
Yeah,
understand it
I
is...
think it does sometimes.
How I understand it is it looks at the image
Yep.
and then it improvises what the image should do, not what the prompt says the image is doing. Right, the last 2 UFOs came in. One of them came out pretty nice for 5. Right, did we get any particular standouts that I can add to the folder before we leave? This guy's pretty nice. I'll add him to the folder. Organize. There you go. That's in. Go away. First, browsing through what we got today before we wrap this up for good. Puka's asking you a question, Willow, unless you already answered it.
I answers it with the awkward smile face. I'm happy to follow up the conversation with you, Puka, by yourself.
Oh, snap. I think even Leo has an opinion on that retort.
Oh no.
Oh, snap. I think that's as good a time as any to wrap up the stream, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
So, yeah. Everyone, thank you for joining us. Keep an eye on the event schedule for our next stream, likely this coming weekend. We shall see. Topic to be added. We shall think about it. If you're interested in providing a topic or joining in on a stream, let us know and we shall see if that's an option.
Yeah. Thank you everyone that joined and people who shared.
Let me just grab the contest ads one last time, put them in chat so that people who joined us late still see these. Being the new emoji contest as well as the Valentine's Day contest. Someone post something. There you go. And yeah. Any last words, Willow?
No, that's all from me. Thanks, Thom.
Okie dokie. Thank you very much for your company. And thank you everyone for joining in. This has been fun as always, and see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.